may have seen. The national average for a gallon of regular gas is now $3.67, while diesel, which is used for trucking goods, is near $5.
If Tucker won the presidency, do you think he would actually decouple at least distance from Israel? I don't know what he would do, man. I don't know. I think he's a grifter at the end of the day, so I don't know. But the way he communicates on these issues is like, do you want to live in a country that is a objectively white supremacist fascist state that's purging 65 million people that Tucker calls migrants, you know, that happen to have a Latino background? But also simultaneously, we have maybe decoupled from Israel. I think that's a really dangerous gamble because a lot of people will take that.
A gallon. Charlie D'Agata is in Tel Aviv with the details on a new U.S. troop escalation in the region. Charlie, good morning.
Good morning to you. Got us right in the middle of a dust storm here. So going into week 3 of this war, and Pentagon sources tell CBS News the U.S. is preparing to send thousands more troops, including a Marine Expeditionary Unit consisting of around 2,500 Marines, as President Trump claims to have launched one of the biggest raids yet on Iran.
The president posted video on his Truth Social site claiming to show the bombardment of Karg Island, a critical terminal for 90% of Iran's crude oil exports. But he said only military facilities had been struck, not the island's energy infrastructure. Trump wrote, should Iran or anyone else do anything to interfere with the free and safe passage of ships through the Strait of Hormuz, I will immediately reconsider this decision. But Iran's stranglehold on that key waterway has only tightened, with more than 16 tankers and other vessels struck, sending global oil prices and other commodities soaring. Trump suggested once again that U.S. Navy ships could soon begin escorting tankers, but couldn't say when the war would end.
I can't tell you that. I mean, I have my own idea, but what good does it do? It'll be as long as it's necessary. They've been decimated. Their country's in bad shape. The whole thing is collapsing.
The Iranian capital was hit overnight in a new wave of airstrikes. But the intense bombing hasn't stopped the Iranian regime publicly signaling its defiance. President Masoud Pezeshkian and several high-ranking officials taking part in open-air rallies in Tehran. Iranian missiles and drones and their proxies continued targeting American facilities. The U.S. Embassy in the Iraqi capital, Baghdad, hit in a missile attack. And 2 days after 6 service members died when their refueling aircraft crashed in Iraq, U.S. officials say 5 Air Force refueling planes had been struck and damaged on the ground at an air base in Saudi Arabia.
Iran has threatened to turn U.S.-linked oil facilities to a pile of ashes as this war widens and threatens to trigger a global oil crisis. Adriana?
Charlie, thank you so much.
Well, we can get all the very latest on this now with our military analyst, Sean Bell. Good morning.
Morning, Sam.
Sean, good to have you in the studio as always. Karg Island, smaller than Gibraltar, hugely significant though. Just explain why.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? For many people have never even heard of it. It's about 5 miles long, about 2.5 miles wide. It's right at the northern edge of the Persian Gulf. It's actually about 300 miles, I think, away from the Straits of Hormuz. But it is where 90% of Iran's oil flows out of, and therefore, you know, for the exports anyway, 7 million barrels a day. They can cope with up to 10 of these massive supertankers at any one time. So President Trump's claimed he's obliterated all the military targets on there. That includes airfields, air traffic control towers. There's some helipads, and there's also some naval personnel there. What's interesting that when he says he's obliterated, he's talked about the airfields. I've seen.
Does chat know how a refueling plane works? I'm surprised they don't crash more on their own. Jesus fucking Christ, it looks so sketch, brother. It's entirely designed to do that sketch thing. I know. When I first found out about the existence of refueling planes, I was also confused. Okay, it's insane. It is truly insane, but it is the purpose of the plane is to do that thing that you consider sketch. So, you know, you'd probably be seeing a lot more crashes if it was happening frequently, because they're used quite frequently, especially in this campaign, because Iran has been bombing American military bases in the region, which offends some of my Gulf fans. But that's part of the reason why Iran is bombing the military bases, so that America can't use those military bases to launch aerial campaigns.
Some of the video of the strikes.
Yeah, what's your assessment?
Well, the trouble is with airfields is they're very, very big bits of concrete, and they've certainly plugged holes into each of the runways. But we used to do that in the Cold War, and it doesn't take much to fill a tipper up with gravel, pour it on, put a layer of tarmac on the top of it, and off you go again.
Yeah, the Boeing KC-135 Stratotanker fleet is over 65 years old, with the first aircraft delivered to the U.S. Air Force in June 1957. While production ran from 55 to 65, the aircraft remains in active service, with many airframes expected to fly at least until 2030, making them some of the oldest military planes in operation. Yes. The new version, the Boeing has made new Stratotankers as well. I forget what they're called, but the KC-135 Stratotanker is very, very old. KC-46, yes, thank you. The KC-46 is a newer version, but the American military still very much uses the old ones.
So it's not a permanent
potholes, effectively.
Well, yeah, they're big.
I can't believe it's so old, brother. We still. That's planes, baby. That's planes. That's how it works. A lot of the planes that are still being used are old as fuck. That's just how planes work.
Are effectively potholes. I think the interesting bit,
especially from an era when, you know, these things were built to last. Maybe F-35s are a different reality. I don't know. We haven't seen them utilized over an extended period of time. But there was a point in time when planes were built, when American military equipment was still built for utility. American military equipment was built for utility. It was built to last. It wasn't built for expansive defense contracts. We live in a very different reality now. The reality that we live in is constant corner cutting, both on the commercial side and even on the defense side, right? Where production is not designed with maximum efficiency in mind, but more so movable parts that are expensive with some level of planned obsolescence, you know?
About the story, though, is that President Trump didn't target the oil and made a really big thing about that. And I think if you look more widely, a lot of that oil goes to China. And therefore, if he was to take that out, you might risk the ire of China and the whole thing starts to expand even further.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a tailored strike, interesting to see what impact it has.
There's been a lot of talk about the US and whether or not it would be willing.
Right to repair gone. There is one right to repair country. Iran. Iran loves doing right to repair on their old gear that they got back when they were an American puppet state. Half of their fucking military equipment, half of their like Air Force, all of their Air Force is like either shitty Russian equipment that they got, like the trainer planes, the trainer fighter jets, or, you know, shit that they had, like the F-4s and things that they had from back in the day when they had, when they were an American puppet state.
The consensus seems to be not to send have boots on the ground. Where does this plan of sending 5,000 Marines sit within that as a wider context?
Yeah, it's fascinating because it's being played out. And let's be quite clear, these US Marines are probably a couple of weeks away. So we're not talking about any time soon. And we've just finished the first 2 weeks of the war. So 2 weeks is a long time in terms of this Iran conflict. And it might therefore be nothing more than a threat by President Trump, just to show that he is willing to consider boots on the ground. I think what's been fascinating is that the war general has been almost migrated into two separate wars. There's the military parts of it, American superpower dominating everything on the ground. There's no question, Iran can't win that. But it's also this sort of ideological war that's going on. And unless America is prepared to put boots on the ground, it's pretty clear air power alone will not change Iran's intent to build a nuclear weapon and will not stop its intent to to keep attacking American forces as they're there. So I do think that, Iran is left with 70,000 Shahed drones, probably. Still got a leadership in place. It may not be the original leadership, but sounds even more hardline. Mushtaba sounds like sort of version 2.0, but even more vengeful. And then you've got proxies still active and the Straits of Hormuz. And therefore, I suspect the Marines are, how do you solve that Straits of Hormuz problem?
It seems to be an impossible conundrum, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the longer that Iran looks after that Straits of Hormuz, the more it can do this whenever it likes. And I was chatting to some military colleagues earlier in the week, and they said if you really want to solve that, you've actually got to invade Iran, at least, and take a section of ground all the way around the Straits and actually guarantee its security. Now, whether or not President Trump has got the appetite for that, because the one thing against President Trump in all of this...
Guys, there's another way, okay? There's another way. It's called diplomacy. It's called leaning into and conceding to Iranian demands. What happened? Dude, I don't understand. Everyone was talking about, American dicks. They're hard. They're so hard right now. B-2 bombers, they're hungry. Feed me the three gorgeous dam, they used to say. What fucking happened? Now you got Israel running critically low on interceptors. What the fuck happened? Where are they at now? Where's the Asmin Goy squad? Coming in here being like, nah, dog, America's got it. Don't fucking worry about it, King. America's got it, bro. Trust.
This is time. Yeah. It's the one factor. Iran has got lots of time. Trump has not. He's going to run out of air defense weapons. It's got the midterm elections coming up. Every day that goes by, we're getting more casualties. And the KC-135, that tanker, tragically lost their life, which is
fake news. Fake news, right?
Close to my heart, because obviously it's aircrew. When I flew around, we had an ejection seat, so if you get shot down, you can still get out. These boys and girls do not have that luxury. So the longer these goes on, the more likely it is that we're going to see more casualties and repatriation ceremonies back to America.
And just finally, the decision by the US to lift the sanctions on Russian oil, I mean, the Europeans are going to be wringing their hands over that.
I think this is profound, absolutely profound, because we've seen for the last few months, in fact, best part of a year, Europe desperately trying to keep President Trump involved to support Ukraine, to support NATO. And one of the strategies is that Europe hasn't wanted to get involved militarily with Ukraine, but economically it's trying to drive Russia's economy to the ground so it can't afford to prosecute the war. Apparently it's about £1 billion a day. Well, all of a sudden now, in a heartbeat, Trump, without consulting the European colleagues, has gone, yeah.
Did Bibi die? No, man. Guys, please. Like, not that I know of. There is not any real evidence that Benjamin Netanyahu has died, okay? It's just like AI shit. People are going crazy. It's not even AI shit. People are suspecting it's AI. Iran's influential Speaker of Parliament, Ghalibaf, addresses the Telegeneral Hegzeth on X after announcing successful strikes on several U.S. military targets, asking U.S. Secretary of War Hegzeth, so what do you think, Telegeneral Hegzeth? Obviously, the best strategy now is to throw the infantry into the meat grinder. They're sending poor boys to fix what generals broke. Go die for Israel. U.S. is reportedly sending up to 5,000 Marines to the region, according to a Wall Street Journal report. Speaker of the Islamic Republic of Iran's parliament says target status, radars, batteries, refueling tankers, military bases, drones. Beast mode. What do you say? Please don't send military into Iran. Please don't do this. It is not a good idea. I know no one listens to me and thinks I am fucking in the pocket of the IRGC or whatever. This is not going to be good for America. It's not going to be good for like regular Iranian people either. It's not going to be good for anybody, but it's certainly not going to be good for the United States of America. Please. We're so goddamn arrogant, dude. We are so fucking arrogant.
we can buy Russian oil again. It's worth about $150 million a day to Russia. That will be converted into weapons, to bombs, to missiles, to fire into Ukraine, to recruit more soldiers. Not a word of consultation with European colleagues. And I think this simply re-emphasises that President Trump is only focused on President Trump and the US. Yeah. And European leaders will be wondering, what the hell are they going to do about it?
We actually got a message, or a message was sent out by Donald Trump on his social media platform, Truth Social. Let me read to you what it says. Many countries, especially...
God, I fucking hate Popular Front so much. This Jake Hanrahan and the Popular Front are 1,000,000% State Department stooges, okay? I'm glad that people will hopefully recognize that eventually. Don't ever send me this bullshit ever again, okay? Cuba clashes erupted overnight in Ciego de Avila, central Cuba. Protests set fire to local headquarters of the Communist Party as demonstrations against the government sparked by ongoing nationwide blackouts entered their second week. There are also reports that a man was shot by pro-government supporters colectivos, which are armed civilian groups that operate in support of the authorities and are often used to intimidate or confront protesters. Come on, dude. I mean, we're not even done with the Iran situation, and there's already motherfuckers being like, well, you know another country that's actually really upset at their government and not upset at the United States of America for starving it is Cuba. Remember Cuba? Is Cuba introducing new reforms true? From what I understand, Cuba is willing to play ball with the American government, and they'll do anything they can to not fucking starve their population. So they might implement reforms internally in the economy in an effort to open up the economy to the best of their ability. And if that actually avoids complete chaos, great. I don't mind it at all. It's not up to me.
Especially those who are affected by Iran's attempted closure of the Hormuz Strait will be sending warships in conjunction with the United States of America.
Wait, Jake Hanrahan has a psyop? I fucking hate that piece of shit. 100%. 100%. You'll see. Eventually you'll see. Has he talked about Iran at all? Maybe he has. I don't know. I mean, this right here is 100%. I mean, you're a government mouthpiece, brother. He hates your ass too, to be fair. Yeah, fuck that guy. I know he does. He's a massive anarchist. I mean, sure. Exactly.
To keep the strait open and safe. We've already destroyed 100% of Iran's military capability, but it's easy for them to send a drone.
I don't think Robert Evans hates me. We do have some disagreements, though. Reuters confirmed the Cuba story? Of course, dude. Of course. The whole point of this is literally economic strangulation in order to fucking piss off the people, activate reactionary forces in the country, and then make it seem like there is a tremendous amount of discontent against the government. Okay, piss off the people, frustrate them enough, strangle them enough, and some of them will actually fucking do some damage. Use that symbolistic damage to say, "Oh, we have to do regime change in Cuba." Hello, we just walked through this with Iran. We're actually still in this with Iran. Of course Reuters is going to fucking confirm it. It works in line with American State Department interests in Cuba.
Drone or two, drop a mine or deliver a close-range missile somewhere along or in this waterway, no matter how badly defeated they are. Hopefully China, France, Japan, South Korea, the UK and others that are affected by this artificial constraint will send ships to the area so that the Hormuz Strait will no longer be a threat by a nation that has been totally decapitated. In the meantime, the United States will be bombing.
Yeah, that was beautiful. The China mention there is incredible. Saying hopefully China will militarily help us open the Strait of Hormuz. Brother, give up on that. Just give up at that point, dude. What are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Come on, China, please. What if I ask nicely? You love trade, don't you?
The hell out of the shoreline and continually shooting Iranian boats and ships out of the water. One way or the other, we will soon get the Hormuz Strait open, safe and free. Signed President Donald J. Trump, and that his latest message just a few minutes ago on Truth Social.